Oh, yes. Hello, 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 hello. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. Didn't even see that I was live. I thought it was still loading. Hello, I am Beno. I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. I'm a See, football club. I don't even know what that is. I just did it. And today we are going to be talking about Ibraheem Jabaar, Stellenbosch, currently West Stellenbosch. By the end of the video, I want to hear how many people think they would have or would prefer him over Umthetho. We'll talk about all of that as the video continues. But for now, as you know, let's do the right things and like the video. If you are already a subscriber, become a member, or just like the video if you don't have the money to become the member, although it's only 20 rand. It's all good. Just like the video, please. That's the most important thing. And this weekend, by the way, I had some people who were commenting on my Mpandla and stuff like that. And I was sure those were not subscribers. It was just people who were bantering. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, you will find Uguti, you are not able to comment. That's because only subscribers, only people who are subscribed to the channel can comment, because I know people who are subscribed to the channel are unlikely to insult me. So unless you want to subscribe and insult me, you can do that. But only people who are subscribed to the channel can comment, as you can see that it's saying that, because I'm preventing this disrespecting thing. Okay, anyways, yeah, guys, welcome to the show once again. It's interesting because I made a video a few weeks ago talking about Ibraheem Jabaar and his linked move with the Chiefs, because it's a tricky thing, this one. Because if you look at it, right, there is Uguti. When it comes to Stellenbosch as a team, we're looking at Umendieta as one of the targets from that team. We're looking at Umthetho before Nkhohle, umuntu kaMandu van Veek. But the main links that we've been linked with, abantu abawu-2, Umendieta no Umthetho. Now there's this thing that Jabari, which comes up here and there ukuthi Chiefs want him, but ama-links akhona, they're just under the carpet, because I feel like at this point Chiefs is having to calculate ukuthi, is he worth the risk? Is he worth saying, oh, let's ditch Umendieta and Umthetho for him? Because if you think about it, if you sign someone like, let's say, if you sign someone like Umendieta, right, who's 29, and we had to go to, they want like 12 million for him, right? That's a lot of money for a 29-year-old who's turning 30 before the end of next season, right? And then you look at Umthetho is also like 29, and he's a defensive midfielder, one of the solid and most consistent of them all. Like PSL, yes, I know Charlie, no team, they play better, blah blah blah. But I would say Umthetho is solid, is really solid as a defensive midfielder. And what did I say? Umthetho is very solid as a defensive midfielder. But what I will say, Uguti, it kind of makes things complicated for Chiefs. Uguti, are they going to go for Mendieta, Jabaar, and Umthetho as well? I doubt that. I don't think all the 3 players from Stellenbosch can be sold to Chiefs, because also of recent events, like what happened with the recent game that we played against Stellenbosch. Uguti coach wabo ended up sulking, and I know Uguti, the decisions are not up to him, but it's small things that ruin relationships between our teams, because we know that's how the wheels started to come over with oh my god, I didn't even see what the mic was over there. Anengitsheli guys ukuthi the mic is not even showing. It's what happened with who's this guy who committed of this team of Cape Town City. It was just a thing that happened with the COVID. Ukuthi Chiefs didn't attend the game, blah blah blah, and then the relationship that wasn't working just became worse. Vele. So I hope this thing that happened when we played against Stellenbosch does not result in this relationship that has been so good for us over the past 2 years becoming bad, right? So I'm just hoping it doesn't affect the relationship that much. However, I would be interested to hear from you guys. If you had a choice between Mngqithi, Mngqithi, and Jabaar, who would you prioritize? Like, because I honestly believe given the 3 players, I don't think the Chiefs will be signing all of them. So we still in Porsche Mangatwage Chiefs, they are saying prioritize one player, like prioritize one. Let me make a poll. Which one would you prioritize? Would you prioritize this young 20-year-old striker who would definitely would you prioritize that? Okay, I'm going to sign an experienced player in Mngqithi who is proven, who's really good, or I'm going to prioritize Jabaar, or you're going to say, I'm going to prioritize Umthetho. Yabo. So that's the question that I have for you, because Chiefs, the direction that we're also going in is like we're trying to bring in younger players, right? We're trying to bring in younger players, but at the same time, you're also trying to mix it with experience. But what is good enough experience to bring into our team? Because if you think about it, Jabaar is already playing for a national team, and we've established already experience does not necessarily mean a player is old. It can just mean umdlali like Jabaar has been around the block, and he has actually played enough football in the highest level. We're not taking notice of him, but experience is there. So let me give you a voting system here so that I can get the people who don't vote as well to vote. So the first one is Jabaar. The second one, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Jabaar. Then the other one, the second one is Umthetho. And then the last one is Mngqithi. I'm trying to put this poll up. Mngqithi. If you had to choose one. So that's what I'm asking you guys. If you had to choose one from the Stellenbosch players that were linked with, which one would it be? Which one? Because realistically, we're not signing all of them. So okay, choose one. Choose one. Let me read my comments in the meantime, while I wait for your votes and comments to also let me know why would you choose the player that you are going to choose. Right. Usimba is saying never say never. Omandla is saying Khosi Nation. Ublade is saying Khosi Nation. Kaisonic is saying Ola Khosi. Awe cause Umasakane say I'm just wondering how many will be signed out of so many linkings. Exactly. This is exactly what I'm saying. There is no way Uguti Chiefs is going to go to Stellenbosch and sign Mngqithi, who's their key player, and also sign Umthetho, who's their key player, also sign Jabaar, who's also their key player. There is going to be someone who's not going to be signed. It might end up just being one person who gets signed, and it's most likely Ugutu is going to be Umthetho, because Umthetho will defensive midfield. But Jabaar Gwayena plays in that position. He plays as a central midfielder. He scored against the Chiefs playing in that position. So there could be a shout for him as well. Good, okay, we can still coach being a defensive midfielder into him because he can play as a defensive midfielder as well. And we've already, before people say you're a hypocrite, Bill, we've already talked about good. Me, personally, I don't like players who are central midfielders but can be converted into defensive midfielders. At this time, I want specialists, right? Like Mngqithi Guti. We know what we're getting. We know we're getting a defensive midfield. However, if there's a situation where we're finding good signing Mngqithi seems impossible and Jabaar can play and has played as he has played right now this season for Stellenbosch as a defensive midfielder, then I would say, okay, fine. Then we can do it. Okay, so Nick is saying it's probably Sundowns and Pirates fans. Sorry I had to go through that course. Because it wasn't even Sundowns fans. It was Kaizer Chiefs fans who did not understand what a watch along is, because they thought, or they were trying to force me into showing copyrighted content in my channel, which is just yeah, I can't even explain what it is. So they were trying to say, hey, vozi bola wena in skhathele ukubukana nempandla yakho. So I have made sure ukuthi people who are not subscribed to the channel cannot comment, otherwise they will end up ruining everything. So I have only turned the comments for ama subscribers a channel. But again, you guys can continue voting ukuthi which player would you prefer to sign from Stellenbosch. And yes, I'm not being ignorant of the fact that Mngqithi is a winger, Jabaar and Mngqithi are midfielders, or Mngqithi is a defensive midfielder, Jabaar is a central midfield. I know that. I'm just saying, realistically, out of the three, which one would you sign if you had the choice to just sign one? And then specifically, oh no, Football Freaks is saying, Prompilo, how's your long weekend in Indonesia? Yeah, bro, yes, it's so weird enough, right? Not weird. I work from Tuesdays to Saturdays. I don't work on Mondays, so I'm off valid today. So on Friday it was a holiday. I don't even know what holiday it was. But the weird thing is that on Saturday, then I had to go to work, which sucks because you don't work on Friday, then you still go to work on Saturday. And then it's not a long weekend. That's the answer that I'm trying to make. But yeah, it's interesting that you are aware there was a holiday on Friday. I was basically saying we already have 3 CMs, Matt, Sitebe, and Nange. Then Chiefs want Jamie Weber. We are going to have a lot of players in that position already. I think they should prioritize the DM position. Angithi, that is why I'm asking about Jabaar, because if we pull up his involvements this season for Stellenbosch, he has played as a defensive midfielder as well. He's been played all over nje. Angazi noma uBarker is trying to see which position he fits better, but he has played as a defensive midfielder this season. He has played as a central midfielder. He has played as an attacking midfielder. He's just been played everywhere by Steve Barker. So I think it's just interesting for me, Uguti. Is it because of his versatility, or is it because of the fact that because let's see. First game against the Royal AM, he didn't play. Against the Chiefs, when we played against them, he was a central midfielder. Against Amazulu, he played as a central midfielder. And let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games playing as a central midfielder. Yeah, essentially, Onkama game that he has played this season has been as a central midfield. Onk kahle kahle. Defensive midfield role, not so much this season. So that is why I'm saying you would think Uguti, because they know Uguti is capable, then they would say, okay, since vele another job of a central midfielder is to defend, we can just drill that even more to you. But now your job is to defend. But then the question would be, are you not handicapping the player? Because if the player is capable of going forward and scoring goals, just like he did against the Chiefs, why not then just make him or let him play in his position? As you are saying, specifically, we already have a lot of depth, but does it depth necessarily translate to quality depth? Because you can have it depth, you can have 4 players in one position, but if all of them are underperforming, then you have other problems as well. So that is why you might find Uguti, you end up signing more central midfielders than you need. So there are a lot of things. As in, I'm just thinking of other things right now. And then let me read another comment. Unathi saying Olampilo Nation awe unathi. And then Abfi, I know his comment, it's always gonna be Kaizer Chiefs is winning on Sunday. Blade is saying Jabaar is only 20 years old, Mngqithi is 28, Mendieta is 29, so Jabaar is a better option. Yeah, yabo indaba it always revolves around that veluguti. Maubugi minyaka Jabaar, you can even say, oh, you can even coach being a CDM to him. But the problem is, while you're coaching that, how long will it take for him to adapt to that position? Because the season will be continuing. Because I don't even think 2 months of practice will be. I don't think practice in the preseason will make him like a formidable CDM. I think it will just make him decent enough to know his role at Chiefs will be a defensive midfield. But as I said, I still prefer specialist. But I want to hear you guys explain your things. And then Khuputso is saying would love to have all 3, because let's face it, we don't have enough quality and all these players are quality. But if we're to prioritize one, I would go for Mngqithi. Yeah, Mngqithi seems like the one that is what can I say, less risk, right? Less risk, because contract tag is coming to an end next season, so he's probably gonna be cheaper, and also he is a specialist in a position, so Yaboguti, there is a lower risk for him but a higher reward, because you are getting exactly what Chiefs is currently lacking right now. Usimba is asking, did you sleep well when Chiefs drew? They frustrated me because I knew we've probably screwed up our chances of going to a Champions League next season. So that was the thing. That's what sucked. And then Uswelihle saying, Olampilo, I go with Mngqithi phela umfana wangakithi and bamthatha edlala ngikhona nami grounding to play for professional football and uyiquality samdinga. Awu wasala kanjani Swelihle? Were you wawuse grounding playing against him or wawubukela? Wasala kanjani Khosi? Wena ngathi uyayifavela nje Mngqithi because umfana wangakithi. But no, I understand. He's a good player, Shem Mngqithi. Specifically saying Mngqithi for me, because we need a defensive midfielder. That is the position that should be prioritized, because one of the reasons why we have considered so many goals this season is because there is no DM. That is true. Like, that is very true. We saw it before Blom took that position, and after Blom was removed from that position, then we started seeing holes and holes and holes and holes and a lot of holes in that position again. So we definitely need to prioritize that position. The Khosi Nation stand uthi, Ola Mpilo, what's your thought on Mngqithi links to Chiefs, and do you think Chiefs must give Billiard a new deal? We've covered these two things, but I will try and give my opinions because of some people were not there when I said this. Okay, starting with Mngqithi, I read a very harsh report. I think it was Pagat. No, it was Far Post. They wrote something like, "Oh, Vele Chiefs will inevitably fire Zwane given how he has performed this season." I'm like, well, literally 2 points behind the Pirates in the Super Sport. What do these clowns mean based on how Zwane has performed? It confused me. Like, and the way they say it, it's like he has sucked. It's like he's fighting relegation. So they were saying Mngqithi is linked with HFC to take over from Zwane because Zwane sucks so much or useless. The language that they use, I'm like, you are supposed to be a neutral media outlet. That frustrates me, by the way. These things you go to abantu who are supposed to be neutral are reporting like showing what they are not neutral. They actually have a stake in this. They are news. They should be reporting from a neutral perspective. Mngqithi is linked to Kaizer Chiefs. Not to good man, Zwane has been poor, blah 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 blah. That's none of your business. Leave it to us fans. If a Kaizer Chiefs fan tells me Zwane has been poor, that's their opinion. It's fine. We can talk about that and debate that with the Kaizer Chiefs fan. But someone who's a neutral, who's saying, who's a journalist, it annoys me. Anyways, let's not talk about that. Mngqithi, I think he might end up going to Amazulu, right? Because Amazulu have an opening and he would want to go to a team that will have ambitions, right? So, ambition Yamazulu, they are trying to become a big team. Well, they are a sort of big team in KZN. And now they're trying to reach new levels and they will try and get Mngqithi to go to them. With Chiefs, I don't think Mngqithi can go and just take over. I think for me, right now, I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I will still hold on to the fact that since Zwane took over, I have seen changes in the team and I would only accept Mngqithi to come and be a technical advisor of sorts to Zwane. Not come and be a co-coach, no. Not come and be maybe even assistant coach. Some people are saying, how would an experienced coach come and be an assistant to Zwane? Fine. Agabe kui technical team and be in the technical team and help what's this thing? And help with this the planning and stuff of Chiefs. But I wouldn't say he should come and coach Chiefs. I don't like that. So I would welcome an additional member to the technical team, in short. And Mngqithi would fit that because the way he plays football and the way he coaches teams, I think he would fit as well with Chiefs. But not as a head coach. I disagree with that. Because that also means fire Zwane, and I don't think Zwane is at a point where we can say, let's fire him. Piliati, it's tricky, and I've made like two videos already about him, but he's a hot topic, so we should talk about him. Piliati, I think mina indaba yakhe, he should be he gets injured a lot. Piliati, he gets injured a lot. That's the problem. Piliati ngai, he just gets injured a lot. Yeah, but if it was just to go to Piliati, it was a once off this season, he is injured, I would get it. But my problem is that every other season Piliati will play 5 games and be missing for the next 10, and then come back, play 5 and it's hard to pick up a form, because even when he comes back, let's just say he's out for 5 games, right? He comes back, he plays the next 4 games, and then on the 5th game, he's picking up form. You can tell, okay, he's coming back. Then he gets injured on the 7th. Then he's out for 3 games again. And then he comes back, he plays 5. He gets injured. That does not allow him to have a consistency. And because of that, for me, is always like, just up for one game and then down for the next 4, because he's out for 3, and then for the other 2 games that he's playing again, he's picking up form, and then when he finally picks up form, he gets injured. So I get in the bad depth, I get everything, but to me at this point, it does feel like he can become a bit of a liability. And I would say maybe, just maybe because of that, the Chiefs might have to look at that and think, oh, nah, he's probably not the greatest of investments at this point right now. Rather focus on building your team, especially if we don't qualify for the CAF Champions League or the CAF Confederations Cup, which is looking most likely now. Because if we had those tournaments, then I would say extending his contract is basically saying, okay, we are extending his contract because we need depth. But if I count his salary again, which is like 830k, and take out my phone because Imetiami has become bad for some reason. If I say 830,000 times, 830,000 times 12, that's 9.96 million, right? That just round it off to 10 million. Though 10 million low can be invested in another player. That 10 million that can be put in Pilat's salary over a year can be taken and invested in signing another player. So I think then it becomes a problem. That is why I think Upilat might have to be not granted or given contract. Then Ukhubuto saying, imagine Mteto Zwane Mdu in that midfield. It would give Mdu and Uzwane much more freedom to play. So little saying, lol, it was a big tournament. My team was in the same tournament, and his home team has too much quality, bro. Okay. Yabona sikhuluma nabantu abadlala ibhola. Wadlala noMthetho. I'm sure you'll be so thrilled if you saw him playing. I saw Nqubeko Dlamini, who's playing for the Golden Arrows. We lived in the same race. Like, I was so happy when I finally saw him playing for Arrows. We always knew Gut was a good player, but when I saw him playing for Arrows, I was like, oh, he's not even my homeboy. But since I knew this guy, I saw him every day for 4 years straight in Varsity. I was like, wow, this is so good. Can point at someone and say, I know him. And then next one who played the same, Mngqithi doesn't like Chiefs, Nje, and Khama, we wish you all the best in your future club. Who puts a sale? I feel like Chiefs gets trashed most because of its size, and honestly, I wouldn't want Mngqithi if Zwane had to step down in the process. If we do go for him, let's make him an assistant. The people were asking will his pride as a man, not he's arrogant, but will his pride allow him to be an assistant to Zwane who has less experience compared to him? That's what people are going to ask. Oprah Fox is saying Jabaar is a good player with an educated left foot. He's aggressive. He's not afraid to take on players. He's got good pass and he can also defend. That is what Abantu will hold on to Gutabonak. Since he can defend, maybe we can convert him. Sizobona ngoJabaar. We'll see. Because he's a quality player, there's no denying that. Khuput was saying, I would like to disagree with you on Khama. He was on form for the most of the season last season. A pay cut would make sense. No, I get you what you're saying, but in reality, last season he did play, but he was also injured at times. I mean, I'm not denying the quality of Khama. Khama is a very good player, like very, very, very good. Like, I can never ever say, because there are some people who are saying Khama and Khama. I'm like, guys, there's a difference between Uguti, you need to be match fit and be sharp. After my injury, sometimes you don't show the same or give the same vibes. But I am saying this, good. I'm not denying how good Khama is. I'm just saying the problem is that his injuries are recurring way too much, and because of that, he ends up being in trouble. But if it does take a pay cut, then that also works for me. Usimba saying, were you happy with Liverpool? Funny enough, I was happy that Liverpool came back and played and ended up drawing the game. But the problem is that now we've kind of opened a door for Man City to come back and basically beat Arsenal at the Etihad, and then all of a sudden they win the league. And I hate that team with everything in me. I hate Man City. Shame. Yes. Mngqithi is saying sanibonani. Andile is saying I honestly prefer Mngqithi as a CDM. Mats, Tebe and Zwane are all similar players. They can advance more to the box to the opposition while Mngqithi sits covering the defense. That is true. That is very true. We need a defensive midfielder for sure in the team. Mtokozi is saying, but you guys, how many chances Chiefs missed this season? Don't even want to talk about it because it hurts my heart when I start thinking about the chances that the Chiefs has missed. So Elihle is saying, I still believe in Khama. Chiefs needs to give him another contract, and Chiefs must cut Dolly's salary, and now without Khama, he sucks. Yeah, the conversation always gets interesting when we include those two guys in the chat. But I think, guys, that's all for today. Please go check out the video that I made about Uchemi Weber on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next video, and until next time, remember, equals alpelu moy.